Hello everyone, I'm Uberswe and today we will be building a chocolate factory. This is day 8 of my 30-day create mod build challenge. The actual challenge here is a cocoa farm, but I decided to be a bit more ambitious and build an entire chocolate factory. This is just one of my many builds that I'm doing as part of this series, and you can even participate and be featured in my videos. Today we have 2 cocoa farms that we'll look at towards the end of this video. I've also changed things up a bit. From now on, I've decided to use shaders, and we'll see what you all think. Do you prefer with or without shaders? I'm also going to explain my build a bit more and not only cover the crate machines, but also which blocks I'm using for walls, decoration, and floors. This is based on your feedback, and I'm very grateful for all of your comments. If you have any more ideas, please do let me know in the comments down below. Now, let's get started with our build. Now, for the floor of my build, I'm going to be using deep slate bricks. And I'm just going to place them all in the area that I've dug out, just like so. We're just going to fill them in here as well. For the walls of my build, I plan to use mud bricks, packed mud, stripped jungle logs, and jungle planks. Also, when I do this, I like to use a random block placer. So I'm automatically switching the block in my hand like this. And as you can see, it's very important for this build that the jungle log is facing down like this. You want them all rotated the correct way. And then I'm just going to go around and build a bit of a wall here. And there we go. We now have our basic structure of what we want our house to kind of look like. So let's go ahead and get started with our cocoa farm first. We're going to dig down right here. We can clear some of these blocks away. And basically, I'm going to open up a 3x3 area here. And this is where we're going to want our water wheel. Let's see. Well, maybe we want it one lower, actually. We'll dig this out a little bit more. We'll place this here. On top of our water wheel, we're going to place a clutch, just like this. This is going to allow us to send a redstone signal to that clutch, turning the farm on and off. And then I'm going to put a mechanical bearing right here, just like so. And then we're going to put some jungle logs like this. And then we're going to build this up like so. Then down here, we can actually take some stone and place it right there because we're going to place water here and we want it to flow around. All right, and here in the middle, we're going to place our jungle logs. And we need jungle logs here because that's what we can place our cocoa on. So we can now go ahead and glue this. So we're going to glue the planks just like this down there. And then we're going to glue from here to here, and I'm just gluing by right clicking, and we want to glue all the planks. We want to avoid gluing the logs. And then from this block here that I right clicked on, we're going to glue here. So now you can see we have glue going down there and to this one all the way up like that. So we have glued this entire section as one, and then we can go ahead and place our harvesters just like so. And that will complete our contraption. And basically, we're going to have cocoa beans all the way around just like this. And they're just going to grow. And then they're going to get harvested as they grow. Oh, and I actually forgot about something. We do need to place some kind of storage on this thing. So I'm just going to place a barrel right here. And then we're going to go ahead and glue that just like so, because the barrel is going to contain our items. We're going to go ahead and get a portable storage interface, and we can place it. Let's put this lower, actually. We'll put it right here. And then that portable storage interface is going to connect to a portable storage interface that's placed right there like so. So these two are going to connect as this whole thing rotates around, and we'll go ahead and put back our jungle log right there. And now that we've done that, we can go ahead and place our water right here. And now we'll see our contraption rotating And as it rotates around, it's also going to connect to the interface there. Next, we're going to need to put a belt right here to kind of output items from the portable storage interface. Basically, when the portable storage interface connects here, it basically makes this like all one inventory that we can pull out of. And this will stay connected as long as items are being pulled out. And what we need is we need one shaft down here, and I'm going to put another shaft up here. So we're going to have like a belt going upwards like this. And then we're going to put our andesite funnel just like so. And when the bell is turning, it's going to pull items out. Then here, I'm going to have an item vault, just like this. If you place 4 of them like this, it's going to become 1 item vault. And then we're just going to put another funnel just like so. Now we need some way to power this belt here. So I am going to have a shaft here, and then we're going to put our power back here. So we're actually going to like knock this wall out a little bit and put a water wheel here. And for this build, we're going to need like 3 water wheels, I think. So we're just going to put like a shaft right there. And then our water wheel is just going to be placed on that shaft. We need to remove that just to place it down. And then I'm just going to go 1, 2, 3. And basically what we'll do is we can dig out a hole here, I think. And we do need to place a water here at the top. So I'm just going to go ahead and take some birch stairs right here. Oops. And we're just going to place them side by side. Actually, this last one we can actually place like that. Yeah, there we go. So we're going to have some stairs there, and then we'll just waterlog this. Yeah, there we go. Now that we're inside again, we can replace the shaft that we had there with a cogwheel, just like so. And then we take a rotational speed controller, which does require brass, but I think we're going to need it for this build. And now that we have this rotational speed controller, we can adjust this by right-clicking on the number here, and we can speed up or slow down the rotation. So by default, it's 16 RPM. We can set it at like 32 for now, and you can hold shift when you're selecting a number. If you hold shift, you kind of get exact numbers. And also, if we wanted to like reverse the rotation, we can go up, and that's gonna reverse the rotation here, so it goes the opposite way. And then we're gonna put a vertical gearbox here. If you need a vertical gearbox to be a horizontal gearbox, you can just turn it with the wrench. And then we're gonna dig out the floor. And then another gearbox here. Now we'll dig out this dirt right here. And we can probably have 2 gearboxes like that, because you can see they're gonna like move the rotation up. And then we're just gonna have our shaft connected here, and we'll have another gearbox here. Now this one needs to be rotated a few times, but then we can just connect it just like so. And now our belt is moving. And right now it's moving in the correct direction like that, and it's actually pulling out cocoa. If it was moving in the wrong direction, you could just go down here and put a gearbox in there, and it's going to reverse the direction. Or you could go back there and adjust the rotational speed controller, just bringing this number down, and that would also reverse the direction. So either option is nice. Now, I think it's important to automatically switch off farms when the inventory gets full. And the way we can detect that and stop the farm is to put a threshold switch against our item vault. Now, a threshold switch has this configuration here, which may look a little bit complicated, but basically this golden icon here shows what your current inventory is. So we're probably at like, like 2% or something like that. This line here shows when this will move down, and this arrow here, or this line here, shows when the chest will move up again. So basically what it's saying is when this chest gets to 75%, it will move down. And since you can see this is like a bright red, it means it's going to emit a redstone signal when it goes down. And then when we get to 25%, it's going to go back up again and stop emitting the redstone signal. You can also reverse this so that it emits a redstone signal when it's actually like filling up, and then stops emitting when it's not filling up anymore. It kind of depends on your usage. For our usage, we want it to emit a signal when it gets full. And we can scroll to move the arrows. So we can scroll this up to like 95%, for example. And then maybe we want to start our farm again if it gets to like 75%. So we always want our inventory to hover around this area. You could put this lower if you wanted to, but I kind of like to start and stop to always keep the inventory full. So we'll save that, and then we're going to take a redstone link, and here we're just going to shift click or shift right click to place that down. And you can see by the antenna here that this is emitting a signal. If you right click a redstone link, you can change it so that it gets this little white thing on the antenna, and that means it's in receiver mode. So this is receiver mode, this is emitter mode. So now we can put cocoa beans as our signals. So every redstone signal has frequency 1 and frequency 2, and the combination of these is telling it where to send signals. So you can use any kind of blocks to set the signals and to avoid signals conflicting with each other. You can also leave these blanks. That's also a valid configuration, but I prefer not to leave mine blank because then you risk, building a new machine, setting off a redstone signal and causing problems. So, and now, if you remember earlier, we placed our clutch down here, and we're going to place a redstone link on our clutch. I'm actually going to go ahead and just jump down here so we can see what we're doing. But basically, we'll right click on the clutch here. That's going to place the redstone link just like so. We'll wrench it to set it to receiver mode. And then we're going to use the same frequency here. So just 2 cocoa beans like so. And one important thing for this farm is we don't want it to break stuff when it stops. So we can set the movement mode on the mechanical bearing here. We can change this to only place near initial angle or only place when anchor is destroyed. And we want it to only place when anchor is destroyed. Basically, it's talking about placing blocks and having the contraption no longer be a contraption. And we want this to stay as a contraption forever, unless this mechanical bearing is broken, basically. And that's now going to allow us to stop this machine. So if we go to our threshold switch here and we reverse the signal so that we are emitting a redstone signal, you'll see that our farm has stopped. And it will stay like this until the redstone signal is switched off, just like so. And now our farm is running again. You can see, okay, it's still pretty low, but once this gets up higher, we'll see this actually shut off on its own. And now that we have our cocoa farm set up, we're going to create a machine to generate some milk by milking a cow. Basically, what we need is we're going to need a deployer sitting face up right here. So let's turn this a few times like so. We can probably turn it again just like so. This is going to be milking our cow. Now, this is going to be a very compact setup, so hopefully this won't be too hard to follow, but we're going to need a gearbox here just to be able to give some rotation to our deployer here. And then I'm just going to put a shaft here. And then we're going to connect this to our existing gearbox over here, just like so. So there we have a deployer. Basically what it's going to do, it's going to hold a bucket, and then it's going to milk our cow that is going to be standing above this. Basically just on top of the deployer, we're going to place a pipe like so. I'm holding shift to be able to place this because otherwise you might just give it to the deployer. And then our pipe is going to go out this way, basically. So the milk is going to go out this way to the rest of our machines. And then on top of this, we're going to have an item drain where our milk is going to be deposited. Now, I'm just going to use andesite casing here to create a bit of an enclosure. So we're just building up a little bit here. And then I'm just going to build a glass box here. Because basically when entities collide with glass, they do not take damage as far as I know. So this will kind of protect our cow as he's sitting up here. So basically our next step is to find a cow. There we go. See, there was a cow not too far away. So we can go ahead and put a lead on the cow and we'll bring him back to our chocolate factory. We need your milk, Mr. Cow, or Miss Cow, maybe. And then all we have to do is get the cow into the glass box up there. Should be easy. We'll just make a little path. There you go. Just come up the stairs, cow. Wow, that was so much easier than I thought it would be. That's kind of incredible. So yeah, super easy. Just do that. Now the next thing we need to do is to kind of test this out to actually milk the cow. So this is going to be temporary, but I'm going to put a pump here. I'm probably not going to keep this pump in this place. We're probably going to move things around a little bit. And then we'll have a fluid tank, which is just temporary here to just show that we're actually outputting milk. It's kind of just floating in the air right now. And we're going to dig up our floor. So I thought it would take longer before I had to do this, but it's time. And then we're just going to put some regular cogs here to kind of give our pump here some power. And we can also right click on this pipe right here just to make it see-through or to make it a glass fluid pipe. And now we should be able to take our bucket. It's the moment of truth. We should be able to take our bucket and just give it to our deployer here. And it's just going to milk the cow. So you see there's like a little hitbox right here. I'm just going to right click that hitbox. And that should give the arm the bucket. And as you can hear, it's actually milking the cow. And we already have 1 bucket, 2 buckets of milk. So it's a fairly fast system. This idea was actually shown to me by Uncle Ranger, who is one of the members here on the Gearworks SMP. And I'll make sure to link to his channel in the description below. So make sure to check out some of his videos. He has some pretty cool milk farms and dirt farms and things like that, which I haven't seen anyone else post. So make sure to check that out. And now that our milk and cocoa farm is done, we need a sugar farm. Because to make chocolate, you need sugar, milk, and cocoa beans. Now, for our sugarcane farm, I'm going to be putting it outside behind this wall right here. So if we run out, we can see like in this area is going to be where our sugar farm is. And then to power this mechanical bearing here, we're once again going to be using a water wheel. So we'll dig this out in a 3x3 once again. Like that. I think we'll be good with this. So we'll put our water wheel here and a bearing there. And we're going to be placing the water back there. We can actually place it now. So now you can see that the water wheel is spinning. And it's going to go in this direction, which means our saws that we're going to be using should also be facing this way. Let's go ahead and put a birch block up here. Let's put our saws like this. And what we can actually do is we can take barrels and we can use those. Whoops. We can use those as the middle block, just like so, because then we have our storage in here. And finally, we're going to need some kind of portable storage interface. And basically, it's going to connect to the wall over here. And I think we're just going to place it right here. We need it to be facing the other way, though. Just like that. And when it gets near this wall, I guess this is going to be the closest block. So we probably want it in the wall, just like so. And that's what we're going to be pulling from when this goes around. So we need to glue this now. All right, so we have some glue. So we'll just right click here to go up a little bit with our glue like so. And then we're going to go across to glue that together. And then we're going to go up 1 here as well. So now everything is glued and we should be able to right click here and our saws are spinning. And then what I need to do is I need to get this grass block. We'll place one here, one here. For now, we're just going to put water here in the middle and basically just all the way around, just water. We'll keep it like this for now, and we'll see when it grows if it's actually, picking up the sugarcane or not. Now on the other side here, you can see that we just have our portable storage interface up here. And what we can do is we can put a belt right below this, and we'll have another belt going right there, just like so. And then we can have an andesite funnel there. And we're going to put another item vault here. I'm just doing them 4x4 by 1, just like this, just to keep it small. But you could make a larger item vault if you wanted to. I don't really think it's needed, but it's something you could do if you wanted to. Then once we have the sugarcane, we're going to need to crush that with a millstone to get sugar. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a shaft here, and we're going to place another shaft here. And then we're going to take our mechanical belt, just like so, and put a funnel right here, which is going to output onto this belt. And then we can take another mechanical belt. This is not going to use the belt. It's just moving the position of this shaft and extending this belt. So it's only used to actually trigger this behavior. And then what we can do is we can put a millstone on top of the belt, just like so. And then we'll put a funnel right here and a funnel right here. So basically these funnels are going to input into the millstone, and then the millstone is going to output onto the belt here, which is going to go into like a basin or something where we're actually going to mix our chocolate. So let's go ahead and power this up. To do that, we need to get some power from below. So we do have some power down here. And then here on the opposite side, we want to get power to this millstone here. And to do that, the easiest way is probably to break this shaft and put a gearbox in here, but that is going to reverse the rotation. So I guess now we do need to flip this one. And then in here, we're going to need another gearbox, which is going to be rotated upwards like this. And then we need a shaft here. Now, I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to power the belt here with the gearbox. So we're going to put a shaft into the belt, just like so, by right-clicking with the shaft. And then we're going to take a gearbox, rotate it. Luckily, we got the correct rotation here again. If it wasn't, we can always replace this shaft. And now I need a cogwheel up here, which is going to power our millstone. I went ahead and got some sugarcane just so we can test the system. So we can add some sugarcane on top of here, and it should get sawed just like so. And then it's going to input into here, and then the sugarcane comes out, and it goes into our millstone just like that, and we get sugar. So our system is indeed working. Now, just to disable the system while we're working on it, I'm going to flip the rotation of this belt funnel right here, just so that we're not outputting sugarcane to this millstone. I'm also going to go ahead and get some deep slate bricks here and just kind of tidy up our floor a little bit, because we don't want all of these holes here as we're working. So there we go. It's looking a little bit cleaner. And now, just like we did on this side, we're going to take our threshold switch and a redstone link, and we're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to put a threshold switch right there. We can use the same configuration. So we want it to go down to emit a redstone signal at 95%. And then at, 75%, we want it to start again, or to stop emitting the redstone signal. And then we're going to put a redstone link on top. It's going to be in sender mode, so we don't see the little antenna dish there. And for this one, we're going to use the frequency sugar sugar, because that shouldn't conflict with any other farm that we have. as this one has like coca. And then on the outside, I actually need to get rid of some sugarcane and the grass block here in order to place a redstone link down here. And we want to set this to receiver mode where it has that antenna dish there. And then we need to put sugar and then sugar as the frequency. And don't forget to update your bearing here to set it to only place when anchor is destroyed. Otherwise, your farm might break stuff. So with that done, we can take our grass block here and put it back, and we'll take some sugarcane and put it back as well. For the basin in the middle where the chocolate is actually going to be produced by mixing sugar, milk, and cocoa beans, we need a heated blaze burner. And to make that heated, I'm going to use lava. So I'm going to create a small dripstone farm, and we're going to put it inside of a chimney, which we're going to build right over there behind me. And I think I'm going to use some stone bricks, andesite, and cobblestone for most of it. And we're just going to go out like 1, 2, 3, 4 from the wall. And it's basically just going to be right here. And once again, I'm using a randomizer to just randomly place the blocks here when I'm placing them, just to get a kind of a nice palette. And we're also going to be knocking out this wall. It's going to be quite a wide chimney, but I think it will look good. So you'll see it from the outside as well, going all the way up. We'll place 2 blocks here as a temporary measure, and then we're going to flip these up just like so. And then I can place my lava buckets here. So that should be enough lava to keep a blaze burner on completely, like forever. So I think that's pretty good. A pretty good start for our chimney here. Now, before we actually do the pipe from the cauldrons, we should place our basin where our chocolate is going to get mixed. So let's put this up like so, and we're going to place our blaze burner right there underneath it. And now that we've placed our basin and our blaze burner, we can go ahead and put some pipe underneath here. And then we're going to need a pump to bring the lava out. And this pump is going to be facing this way, and it's going to be bringing lava up in this fluid pipe into the spout here, which is going to output onto this depot where there's going to be a bucket. To make all this work, we're actually going to need a funnel right here, and it should be facing inwards like so. And it's going to have a bucket just like that in the filter. And then we're going to have a mechanical arm just like so. And it's going to have 1 target here to deposit items, 1 here to deposit items, and 1 here to take items all the time. And we're just going to place it right there like so, so that it gets power from the pump here, which is going to be powered on this side by a cog, just like so. And we're going to put some casing underneath here just to make it look a bit nicer. Now, to give this some power, we're going to dig down underground again to just bring the power from back here over to this setup that we have just created. And here I'm just going to get another power source by putting 2 cogs just like so. And then we'll put a gearbox there. We can flip it this way to allow for our rotation to go down here like that. So we're just connecting the shaft to that gearbox here. And then we'll have another gearbox here, which is bringing up this power here. And now you're going to see lava is going to go into that spout. And when the bucket goes in there, we have a lava filled bucket, which is going to be put into that blaze burner over there. And then the bucket gets placed back. And we can go ahead and just clean this up a little bit once again. Okay, so now it's time to finally get all our ingredients into the basin. So one thing we can do is we can take a shaft right here and a shaft right here. And then we're going to take a belt and just right click like so to connect those two. And then we can use an encased chain drive on this side. It doesn't matter which side you put it on, but I'm going to put it on this side so that now the belts are connected and the rotation is just transferring over from this belt onto this belt. So now all our sugar should go into the basin. So if we take out some sugar cane there, it's going to get crushed in the millstone right there. And then it's going to go into our basin, and then the belt is just going to stop whenever the basin gets filled with enough sugar. Now, we need to get some milk in here too. So for the milk, I'm actually going to go ahead and just remove the pump here. That's going to stop milk from outputting back here. And then we're just going to put our pump in here to make everything a little bit more compact. We're going to have to remove these cogs for now. We can put a shaft there just to keep our rotation going to the other system. And we'll get rid of this fluid tank. That's also a really nice way to get rid of liquids, is just to delete the fluid tanks. You could break them with like a drill, for example. But then we'll take our fluid pipe and we're just going to go up a little bit here, just so that we have an area where we can walk under. And then I'm going to bring this back just like so. And we can also make this like transparent up here, just so we can see when the milk is actually going across. And then in here, we're just going to replace this shaft there with a cog. And then we're just going to go up. And now we can see the milk is actually going to go into our basin. So now we have milk and sugar in our basin here. And we can go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup here, just like so. And then for the other side here, we need to get our cocoa beans over to our basin. And I think the easiest way to do that is just to right click. Yeah, okay, we have to shift right click onto our basin. And now you can see there's like this little animation that shows like how items will go from the weighted ejector. So it's like throwing items. You can see it's showing how items will go into the basin if they are thrown. Now, I'm not sure this is going to work as I want, because we do need a mixer above the basin, but we're going to go ahead and try it. So I'm just going to put the weighted ejector here, and then it should be configured to throw cocoa beans into our basin. And all we need to do is we need to give this some power. So from down here, we do have power, and we can just take cogs and just bring up the power like that. And now that's going to get loaded. And then we can just place a funnel just like so. And that's going to output the cocoa beans, and they get thrown into the basin. Now, if this doesn't work, because we do have the mixer above there, then we might have to make some changes to the system. But that's good enough for now, I think. And we can place another deep slate brick there. And yeah, it's kind of working. And now on top of our basin here, we can just look into the basin and right click to place a mixer directly above it. Now the mixer needs to be running at 32 RPM, I believe, in order for it to function. And to power it, we could just get some power from here actually. And just have two cogs going over like so. And that's actually going to mix this to make chocolate. The final step is to take the chocolate that we have in here. You can see we have one bucket of chocolate. So we're going to take the chocolate, we're going to output it into another basin, and then we're going to press the chocolate, and that's going to give us chocolate bars. Now for our next step, we're going to want a fluid pump. And we're going to place it right there. Make sure that it's pointing out. If it's not pointing out, you can flip the direction with the wrench by right clicking. And now we're just going to place another basin right here, just like so. And we can put a cogwheel here. So now it's actually outputting milk, which is an issue. So what we actually need to do here is we need to get rid of this cog. We need to place this out a little bit, get rid of this basin. Yeah, we need a smart fluid pipe here. And we should set this to chalk on this smart fluid pipe. So now we're saying we only want to extract chocolate here. And then we can take our basin and we'll place it just like so. And then we'll have another fluid pipe here that's going to extract the chocolate into this basin. And on top of this basin, we're going to want a mechanical press. Now we need a place to store these chocolate bars. So I'm going to place a shaft right here and another shaft right there, like so, for our belt here. And that's going to accept the chocolate bars here. And then we can place an item vault right here, just like so. And now that we have a 3x3 here, we can actually make this larger just by right clicking. As long as you have enough item vaults in your inventory, it will just automatically make this longer like this. And the largest item vault you can have is a 3x3x9. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. I think I'm gonna leave it here just to have some space to like reach this machinery back here. And I think we've had an incident back here. Our farm here has actually chopped down a tree, which was part of our wall. So that's something that you might have to deal with. So you probably want to replace this wall with just mud so you don't run into this issue. It's something I hadn't considered actually. So let's go ahead and clean this up. We're just going to grab the jungle logs off of the belt here. There's probably a few, stripped jungle logs inside of here, which is unfortunate. We'll have to go ahead and fix that. Hopefully they'll come out on the belt here. But basically, I'm just going to take like mud brick here and some packed mud and just kind of fill this up. Oh yeah, and we also have over here. So we need some mud here and some mud here. So that should be fine. Could also get rid of this one just in case that one also goes. So something to think about. I kind of missed it, but you know, it's a fairly easy fix as long as you notice it when it's happening. Yeah, as a final step, we need to power this belt here, and also, whoops, that's not the way we want to go, but we did get some bars of chocolate. But yeah, we want to put a funnel right here, and then we want to bring some power to this belt. Now the rotation doesn't matter back here, so we could actually put a gearbox here since we did get the wrong rotation. And then we'll place another gearbox in there, and now it's going the correct way. So you can see all our chocolate is being stored in this giant vault here. And yeah, all we need now is like a little lever and a funnel to be able to output chocolate bars. So what I like to do is I like to take a depot, just like so, and then we'll put an andesite funnel on top of it. You can see it's outputting chocolate bars. And we can also have a lever here because when funnels receive redstone signals, they turn off. So now if we grab that chocolate bar, it's no longer outputting. But if we, put the lever up again, you can see that it is indeed outputting chocolate. So this is a way to turn it off because funnels are always like checking if they can output. So by disabling the funnel, we can try to help reduce lag at least. So I like to do that. Now, when it comes to the factory itself, I like to tidy things up a little bit with andesite casing. And when you're decorating belts like this, or if you find like cogs, for example, like this, or if you're, just anything you can put a casing on, which is like shafts, cogs, belts, whatever it is, like shafts like this, for example, anything you're decorating like that, it doesn't cost any casings in survival mode, so it's like a free thing to use to decorate. So this doesn't cost anything in survival, just to be clear. However, if you're just placing it like this to do some decoration, that will cost an entire casing, but all the other decorations are free. So yeah, I'm just gonna go around and decorate a few things. And we can do the same thing with copper casing actually. So we can go over here and on our pipe, for example, we can put some copper casing there just to make it look a little bit more tidy. This one is not going to work. You can't put copper casing on the pipe itself. So that's not something we can decorate. But I mean, we could cover this one up if we wanted to, but I think I'm going to leave it like that. So our chocolate factory is now set up and we're producing bars of chocolate. So this is all you need to run a chocolate factory with the create mod, and we've only been using the base create mod here. And now it's time to finish decorating the rest of the building. Now, for the windows of this building, what I want to do is I want to have some sandstone walls on either side, just like this. And then on the inside, I want to use the ornate iron window pane from the create mod to just make double windows like this. And then I'm going to go ahead and decorate it a little bit using some birch and sandstone here, just to kind of hold this up and make a little ledge up here above the window. Then below the window, I'm going to place some grass blocks here, and then we're just going to use spruce trapdoors, just like this all the way around to make like little flower bins or whatever you want to call them. And then we're going to place sweet berries here, and we can actually bone meal them twice to get the berries on there and see how this looks. And there we go. So I'm going to do that for all windows all the way around. Now for the entrance of the building, I'm just going to make a dirt path like so. Maybe, extend it a little bit out here like that. And then we're just going to place a birch door. I want this. I think we're just going to place it like so. And then I'm going to use some stripped birch logs here, just like so. And then we're going to make those go across. And we'll make it go one higher. Like this, I think. And I'm making these birch logs go across like that. And here, we're probably just going to flip these. I had a plan, but I'm changing it now. Yeah, we're going to flip those just like that. That looks kind of good, actually. And then we're just going to put our lanterns just like this. It kind of blends in a little bit with the building because we have the jungle planks here, but I think it's okay to kind of offset it from the windows. I might try this with birch planks. I'm not sure, but overall, I think this is pretty good. So we're going to go with this. This is going to be the entrance. For our chimney back here, you can actually see that the lava here, which is going to be encased in stone soon enough, has actually made this wall catch on fire. With the new setup, I do have the supplementaries mod, which is actually making that ash. So that's not a vanilla create feature. It's part of supplementaries. But yeah, this did catch on fire. So that's something we're going to cover up now. So back here, I'm just expanding this here basically, and I'm using my random block replacer again. And I'm just going to fill this up with stone blocks inside here, just to make sure we don't have any like open spaces inside or any empty gaps of any sort. And then back here, I'm just going to add another wall like this. Now we can start building up. So you can see on the inside there, we have this, and on the outside, we have that. And then for the top of the chimney, I'm just going to place down some campfires here to give us a little bit of smoke. And then I'm going to use dark oak trapdoors just to top off this chimney here. So to kind of get a feeling for the shape of the roof, I think I'm just going to start placing blocks like here and just going up in like a triangle shape to get an idea for the outline of the roof. So I'm just going to go in one here so we can start getting that shape up. And I'm probably going to leave this area here in the middle like open so we can have another window up here. So This area here will feature another window. Oh yeah, we need to get rid of 2 out just like so. So we have enough room to fit this window. We could actually go with like a really steep roof to match the chimney back there. So I'm going to go double here, and then we're going to go double on these as well. And this has to be 3 high. So we're going to go across here. Just like so. We'll get rid of the planks or logs there. Like that. And then we're going to go double here again. And then we go up. And then we double this again. A very tall build. And then finally to there. So the shape of our roof is going to follow this line here. I think that's going to be pretty cool. Now on this side, it's going to be a little bit weirder, I guess. So we have this outcropping here, which I'm going to have to do something with. I think I'm actually going to put some blocks here just to kind of fill this wall in here, just to have it jut out a little bit above the water wheels. And then I guess we're going to have some kind of roof here that goes up like this and combines with this roof. And then here, I kind of want to put a tower here because we could extend this later, or we could just have like something above this. So I'm probably going to put a tower on this side because we have this kind of circular shape here on the end. So I'm going to make a tower here as well. But let's get started with this end. So we'll make this little pyramid shape here. Still just using the random block bracer here to get a palette. Sometimes I'll go back and like change out a few things if I don't like how the palette turns out, but usually it's pretty good. And then here at the top, I'm just going to put another like roof on here, similar to the ones we have. And we're just going to make kind of a triangle shape. I am going to tie this in a little bit better later on, but for now, this will do. Maybe we'll make this too tall. Actually, we could probably make this go out a little bit further. So maybe if we do too tall here and then too tall here. Oops. Like that. And that could probably make for an interesting shape. Maybe even 2 here, and then just have like the roof slanting off the edge here, going out. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So we'll make this a little bit taller, and we'll make this taller. So that's going to be our roof up here. We're going to put some windows and stuff and decorate this tower a little bit. It's a little bit plain right now, but trust me, it will look a bit better at least. This is kind of me learning how to be a better builder as well. So some things may look better than others, but I think it's coming along well. I can see like a final design, even if it's not, even if you don't see it right now. Now for the roof, I'm going to be using a lot of deep slate. We're going to have deep slate brick stairs, bubble deep slate, and deep slate bricks. And deep slate stairs, I'm just going to be putting at the bottom like this to kind of give an edge to the bottom of the roof. And then I'll be using like a random block placer to just randomize the look of these blocks here. We can actually get rid of these like that. And yeah, just changing it out wherever I feel like it's not really fitting correctly or where it doesn't look right. I could probably make this go out 1. I believe this is the edge of where I'm allowed to build, so I'm trying to stay within the bounds. And then, yeah, we just add more blocks just like this, just going up based on the shape of this. So we're just going to follow this all the way up. and going double wherever there's double walls like this. And then here at the top, we can go like 3 high like that to give it to kind of a nice shape, I think. So that's what I'm going to do. Then all I do is just like fill this in. So I'm just going to like go all the way across with this and see where it connects. And I think it connects okay. I'll probably bring this wall down here from the tower so that there's no gap in here. But yeah, basically this is all I'll be doing. So now I've kind of built the main part of the roof here. So that's all done, and I just did that without caring about the sides. And now once the roof is done, I can start connecting up the sides. And what I'll do here is I'll just connect this up just like so, making sure to just place all the blocks where they match with the layout that I have here. And then once I've done this, like once I've built this roof, I can go in here and like actually remove the blocks that are no longer needed as part of this roof. So just to keep it simple, that's how I build my roofs. Next, we're going to want to make the windows on the upstairs floors here. And I'm just going to use the same pattern as I did before, where we have the sandstone and ornate iron panes here. And we're also going to make a little bit of an overhang, just like we had before, just like so. And also there are some areas on this build where I have like smaller openings like this one. Here, I'm just going to make a tiny window, just like so, as I don't want it to be as large in that area. Also, this structure here, I'm going to go ahead and put sandstone walls going all the way up like this, just to make it a little bit more circular and just, yeah, change it up a little bit and make something unique on this side. Now, up on this side here where this tower is, I'm actually going to go ahead and remove some blocks here and replace them with stripped oak logs, just like this, to make a kind of square area, I guess. Just to kind of, I don't know, separate the lower half with the upper half here. So I'm just cutting through this and just making some separation here. And then on the lower side here, I'm also going to put some birch planks, similar to how I did the trim down there. I'll have birch here as a kind of trim under the roof. Then I'm going to go ahead and build the roof up here. So we're just going to take these stairs, similar to how we did down below, and just build out like this. And then we'll use the random block placer here to just randomize the roof a bit. Next, I've gone ahead and just punched out some blocks here from the tower just to make it, you know, a little bit more detailed. So we're going to have windows here, and they're going to follow a similar style to the ones below here, where we have the sandstone above. This one looks a little bit weird because it's close to the roof, but it's okay. We'll place these here. Whoops, forgot to turn off the randomizer. And we'll also have a window here on this side, just like so. And then here I've removed the sandstone wall. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add some stairs all the way along here as a sort of trim. I'm just kind of trying this. I have no idea if it's actually going to look that good, but I have an idea. I'm going to go with it. We're going to see what it looks like. if it doesn't turn out well, we'll probably keep it anyways, but we'll learn for next time at least. So let's see. There we go. And then here we're gonna have this and that. I think that's pretty good. And then I'm just gonna make this like a really thick trim. So we're just gonna place birch wood, like strip birch logs, just like this all the way around. And then on top of that, we're gonna place more stairs to kind of finish off this trim. We deleted a block there, but it doesn't really matter unless we see it from the inside, I guess. Oop. We need a birch block right there. And there we go. Now, it's a little bit thick, but I think it kind of, breaks up the build a little bit there. So I think it looks kind of good. And then for this top part, I've also taken out some blocks just to put some windows in here to make it work a little bit better. So there we go. Then on the inside of our roofs, we're going to add some gates like this. And these are spruce fence gates. And what I like to do is just open them like this because it kind of ties in the roofs a little bit. And to be honest, it's something I've seen other builders do. And this is actually a build inspired by Stam10. It's one of his builds from a video a long time ago. And I just kind of like the design, so I know he uses this as well. So that's where I've gotten it from. But after talking to Stam, I also know that he was inspired by someone else. So I guess it kind of, it just keeps circulating. And we're just going to place these facing towards this block everywhere, all the way around the roof. And I'm going to do it on every side. Now, the interior of our build is a bit dark, so what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to add some lanterns, of course, but I'm also going to go ahead and add just birch stairs all the way on the inside here, all the way under the roof everywhere, just so that it gets a little bit brighter. Instead of this dark roof, we'll have a kind of bright birch roof, and then we'll have lanterns hanging down. And I'm also going to go ahead and start kind of decorating the interior a little bit here upstairs. So we're just going to use stairs, just like so, to kind of hide this dark roof here. We could probably just fill this in just like so. And then here we have a place where we can put 2 lanterns, and that kind of brightens up the space a little bit. Oh, we can probably take a window and place it right here and another window right there, just to add a little bit more to this build. And then we're just going to place a bit of a roof here, or a floor here, I mean. And right now this tower is not going to be practical, but I guess you could put a ladder in here and like actually use this tower for something if you if somebody decides to take over this build. Here's going to be the next floor, so we can put some lanterns. Oops. By the way, this is another supplementaries feature, so if you want that feature, you install supplementaries. It's part of the Gearworks mod pack, which I'm using right now, but basically for this build, I'm only using the create mod. And then we get down here, we have another area where we have windows, and I think I'm going to put a floor in here actually. And maybe here we'll actually use slabs. So let's go ahead and grab those. Let's We have some slabs right here. We'll put a full block right there to kind of hold the jungle log in place. And then we'll have slabs just like so. Just kind of for this area. And then over here, we're going to go back to our birch stairs. And we'll bring this around here as well and just kind of close this off. And we're going to put some lanterns in here just to make it a little bit brighter. One thing we have to consider here is like there's fire down below us, like there's lava. So you don't want to get the roof too close to that lava there, because that could be pretty disastrous. Now here, I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't really matter that we have this like super evenly spaced here. We just kind of want it a little bit spaced. And then we can put some stairs here. And we're going to put like chains going down here. Now we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to do another one. Just like so. And now we can do 2, just like so. I probably need to move this over by 1. I'm double clicking a lot. Sorry about that. And then here we'll have a chain. And here we'll have a chain. We'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. That should be pretty good. And now it definitely feels a little bit brighter in here. You don't have all that dark colored ceiling anymore. That one, we're just gonna let that be. We could put some copycat panels there to cover that, I guess. But yeah, overall, this is looking really good. So we're basically done on the inside, I would say. Actually, I take that back. I thought we were done, but we're actually missing one thing. So I'm gonna take a bar of chocolate here, and we're gonna put a threshold switch. We'll put it right here, I guess. It's kind of out of the way, but also visible. And we'll just put the redstone link on the side, and we want this to be in send mode. So now it's sending, this is receiving, that's sending. We want it in send mode or emit mode, and we're going to set this to 2 bars of chocolate for frequency 1 and frequency 2. And then we're going to set this to 95%. It's going to switch to on, and at 75%, it's going to turn back on. This is just going to handle, like, it's going to check this entire inventory. When this inventory is full, we just want everything in here to shut off, basically, because I don't want this farm to run forever and cause lag to the server. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this clutch, and I think this might only be for the deployer. Yeah, we're going to stick it in here, because that's probably the best place to have it. And we're going to set this to receive mode, and we're going to set the frequency to chocolate chocolate. So now whenever the inventory of chocolate is full, this will cause the entire system to just shut off, which is a really good backup to have. So we could even add a lever next to this, just so that we have an off switch here. So you can see when I give that a redstone signal, basically everything turns off. I mean, all the pipes and everything are no longer running. But that should basically be treated as a emergency shut-off switch. That shouldn't be used in most cases. And there we go. I think our build is actually looking pretty good now from the outside and on the inside. So I'm happy with this. So please let me know what you think of this build down in the comments below. And yeah, I would love to see what you guys come up with for the 30-day challenge. Now, we actually have a cocoa farm submitted by one of our viewers, which we're going to take a look at. And if you would like your build featured in one of my future videos, make sure to check out my 30-day challenge in the description down below, and send me your build either on createmod.com, schematiccannon.com, or just post it on my Discord. I would love to see it and feature it in one of my videos. The first farm we're going to be looking at is this cocoa bean farm behind me here that actually looks like a giant cocoa bean, and it's built by OtavioTheBetata, which I think means Otavio the potato in Portuguese or something like that. I'm not really sure, but it's a really cool build. Look at that, a giant cocoa bean. So let's head inside. So as we walk up, we can see a lever here on the right hand side, and if we right click this lever, we can see the door opening. And inside here, we have a counter with how many cocoa beans are available. And we also have a lever here, which is used for starting and stopping all the machinery and everything. So there's actually not a lot to see inside. We can always grab cocoa beans here if we need some for our, cocoa bean activities, whatever they might be. If we go up, we can actually take a look at it from above, where there is actually a glass ceiling. So here you can see all the machinery and everything, and I'm actually gonna do a little bit of a break-in because I don't see a door or any other way to get in. So we're just gonna hop in here and we can take a look. So there is a bunch of redstone comparators here that kind of work as a timer to move our harvesters back and forth. And these are gonna get the cocoa beans as they move and deposit them over here with the portable storage interface, and it will go into this inventory here. When you paste something from a schematic like this, it tends to mess up the vaults, so you might have to like break it and then place it back like this to fix the vault. I just noticed that it was a little bit broken after I pasted it in. But yeah, over here we have another harvesters, so there's one on either side, and there's probably some inside. No, okay, so this is the room we were in actually. So that's where all the cocoa beans come out from the storage back here. And you also have this smart observer, which is like counting how many cocoa beans are available there. So really cool build. And I'll make sure to link to this in the description down below if you'd like to download it and check it out for yourself. So thank you so much for submitting this build. This next farm is a cocoa farm submitted by Skulkers. And it's a fairly simple cocoa farm that has to be started manually. Let's have a look inside. So as you walk in through the glass door here, you can see that there are some harvesters here with a item vault and a gantry shaft, and they will go down this part here and get all the cocoa beans that are growing here on the jungle logs. And then once that happens, it will get transported in here, I believe, and eventually end up in these item vaults here. And we have one item vault for cocoa beans and one for brown dye. So it's actually producing multiple things, as you can make brown dye from cocoa beans. And then you can take the items as they pop out here. I'm actually not sure. Okay, so once we have 64, it's actually going to pop out. We can actually go ahead and start it here. So if we go inside again, there is a button here on the wall. And if we click this button, you can see that the machine goes all the way down and it goes down all the way and gets any cocoa beans that are mature enough to get gathered. And then we can go back and we can take a look at our display board back here, and we can see that we now have 11 cocoa beans and 88 brown dye. And that's because we outputted 64 cocoa beans here and 64 brown dye. So we can actually see if we take the brown dye, it's actually going to output another 64 here. And we can see that the brown dye now says 24 up there. So a very cool build. Thank you so much for submitting this build, and I'll make sure to link this in the description as well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. This has been day number 8 of my 30-day Create Mod build challenge. In our next video, we'll be creating a clock tower, so make sure to check that out. And if you would like to participate and have your build shown, just join my Discord or upload your build to createmod.com or schematiccannon.com and make sure to put 30-day challenge in the title or add a tag with 30-day challenge so that I can find it. I'll be looking for any clock tower related builds or any future builds. You can also find a full link to the mod pack in the description down below, which will have all 30-day build challenges, so you can try anyone you'd like. And you can also get this world and use it for whatever you like as well. So make sure to check that out. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.